here. I only found out about this the other day. I'm here for Nate, so Nate all day, all night. That's all I do is cheer for Nate.
Congratulations.
No problem.
Have you follow Chris off the stage?
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Headlining spot, I mean, first time out of the gate. Any risk on that?
Well, she's. Let me tell you what. The reason that we have women's MMA now is because of her. It's not because. And again, I've been asked this question a million times, and I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. Everybody's thinking it's because she's attractive and she's this and that. That's all great. Do you hear the way this girl talks? I mean, she is a Diaz brother inside. She's like, well, after I beat her ass, I'd like to take her out surfing and whatever. You know, she's the real deal. She's a fighter. She likes to finish people.
Yeah. We talked before about the predictions that your team does to sort of estimate how certain pay-per-views will do. Have you done that with Ronda?
Here's the thing. I don't know how the whole women's thing is going to go, how it's going to go over, or what it's going to do, but I can tell you this: she deserves to be. She's the champ, and she's the only title fight on that card. The card's going to be stacked with serious fights, and she deserves to be the headliner.
Is there a danger, Dana, that the evolution, because of the number of women at that level, is going to have to be a bit slower, of course, as you go on?
Yeah, we'll see how it works. We're bringing in one weight division, 135 pounders, and we'll see what happens. This could last for years. This could last a year.
You're committed at least to try and see if this works?
Yep. Yeah, I'm committed. I'm in.
Can you talk a little bit about kind of the way you have shifted over the years as far as bringing women into the UFC, kind of what caused that?
I hadn't shifted 1 inch until I saw her. She's mean, man. She's nasty. She's a fighter.
Kind of like the first real thing that you've seen?
Yeah. You know, everybody was saying the whole Dana's in love with Ronda thing, you know, because she's hot. You know, what's her name's hot, too? Her name just went out of my head. Misha's pretty, too, yeah. And
Marlowe's?
the other one. Gina Carano. Gina Carano's beautiful, too. None of them have what this one has. She's nasty. She's mean. She would actually fight a guy if that was the case. If that was what it took for her to get into the UFC, she'd do it.
Have you ever seen that fight?
Huh?
Did you ever have her fight a guy?
No. Never. I'm just saying that's how nasty she is. She would fight a guy.
Have you seen any other female fighters who excite you in the cage?
I haven't. The problem is I haven't met enough. I've seen girls that are incredibly tough. You see these girls go in and they're just, you know, standing there toe-to-toe banging. I've seen a lot of tough girls, but I haven't seen a girl with the whole package until I've seen this one.
Dana, when you put her contract together, are there any stipulations that say you can't do a movie if something comes up and you can't leave the sport or something?
No, you see, I'm not worried about that with this one. She wants to fight. This is like, seriously, she's like Chuck Liddell. I mean, that's what she reminds me of. She just wants to fight and fight and fight. And, you know, there's going to be plenty of time for movies and all that stuff for her when it's over, but you don't make money in the movies. It's all a crock of shit, you know? And I think some of our guys have figured that out.
You know, that being said, though, the fight's in basically close enough to Hollywood as we can get. It's a hometown fight for her. Did that have anything to play into it, like having the Hollywood element there? Because she's so good on camera.
She just ended up on that card. That's just the way it worked. Believe me, wherever people land these days is the way it works, because there's so many injuries. And if you think, look at the card that's coming up here for us, the pay-per-view at the end of the year. We lost Maynard, we lost Forrest, and we lost another Weidman. 3 fucking big guys off that card. It's crazy.
What was Ronda's contract status? Was she done with Strikeforce? Did you give her a new contract for UFC?
Well, it was never a Strikeforce issue. Everybody in Strikeforce is under contract with us.
Okay, so was her contract over, or did you rip it up for a new one, or is it?
She has a UFC contract.
How many fights on it?
8.
Dana, along the same lines of her leaving for Hollywood, does this work if she loses? I mean, what if she loses?
Yeah.
Does the women's division
Listen, one thing we all know, anything can happen in there, man. There's been so many times I don't predict who's going to win and lose anymore. You know, this girl that she's fighting has some nasty ground and pound. She's got heavy hands, and that's where the fight's going to go. The fight's going to end up on the ground. that girl will probably end up on top, and she drops bombs. And Ronda pulls off arm bars, but if you don't pull it off quick enough and you start getting hit with some bombs,
What happens then? What happens to the women's division? I mean, you still have it. You have a champion.
then
but
she's
you
the
don't
champ.
have-
Just like the
Can you
guys.
promote
it's,
her?
it's the same thing, yeah. Then that she's the champ, and who's next for her?
Dana, you mentioned she reminds you of Chuck Liddell. In some ways, is she more marketable than Chuck Liddell was?
Yeah, no doubt about it. She's definitely better looking than Shogun. And yeah, she speaks well. The media loves her, and it's hard not to like her. Or some people don't like her and don't like the way she talks. But regardless of what you think of her personality or whatever you think about her, period, she's a mean, nasty fighter, and she likes to finish people, and that's what I look for, and that's what I care about.
Do you think there was an indication at the Olympics this summer where women's boxing took place for the first time? It was enormous. In a way, it stole the show. And do you think we are shifting towards that people want to see kind of equality in a sense that women get their look in as well?
I think that, no, I don't think that just because women's MMA is here that people should be all crazy about it. I think they should be crazy about her. It's about her. It's about what she possesses and what she brings to the table. And if you think you don't like women's fighting and you think, because when you think of girls fighting, you think of not much technique, two girls just standing there, pounding on each other. There's no real skill, or it's absolutely not true with her. With her, she's got everything. She's got the meanness, the nastiness. She's incredibly talented.
Speaking of the next Rick Jones, is that Gustafsson or Shogun, whoever wins? Where's the Cormier stands in the mix of the heavyweight or light heavyweight division?
Who?
Cormier?
Cormier?
Yeah. He's such a talent. And,
Yeah. Still over.
Like
He's with Strikeforce. He's got a fight coming up in Strikeforce, and then we'll go from there.
Dana, what did you think of that?
What's that? You know what, guys? I deal in the behind the scenes every day, and what people say publicly and what they say behind the scenes are two different things. And yeah, I didn't know the McMahon girl had been calling her out and saying that Ronda was ducking her, and we made some phone calls to people, and people were like, I'd like to get a fight under my belt before I take that one, So,
What did you make of the BJ Rory eye contact?
when we were talking earlier about BJ and his legacy and all that stuff, and we were talking about while BJ was saying the fans don't talk about him anymore. The fans love BJ Penn. You know why they love BJ Penn? Because of what you saw up here today. He fucking called Rory out. He's the one that asked for this fight. He called Rory out, and BJ Penn is a maniac, man. He loves to fight. He's a warrior. Yeah, he might not be in everybody's, he might not be on top of mind when you're talking about the greatest of all time. But when you talk about guys you love to watch get into that octagon and fight, BJ Penn is one of the greatest ever.
What did you think of that? Would you have rather he came back as lightweight? He's going up against a much bigger guy.
BJ Penn has fought everybody on this planet. BJ Penn fought Lyoto Machida. You know what I mean? It's like, whatever this kid wants to do, he's proven himself time and time again that he can hang with anybody. Has he taken a couple of beatings? Yes, he has, and I blame him for that, not his talent. The times that you've seen BJ Penn take a beating, he was the reason why. He was so talented. He never took this thing serious. He never trained and applied himself as hard as he could have. If he would have been the guy with the 10, 15, 20 fight win streak, and he would be still talked about as one of the greatest ever. But with that said, he is still talked about as one of the guys. If you hear, I would bump into people in Las Vegas, and what do you do? I said, well, we got a fight this weekend on Fox. Oh shit, really? I start cracking off names, and once I get to BJ Penn, they're like, holy shit, BJ Penn's fighting on that card. You know what I mean? Because you know what you're gonna get when BJ Penn fights.
He rang your office to ask you.
Yeah, he texted me. He's the phantom texter. What'll happen is I won't hear from BJ Penn for a year. and then I'll get some crazy 4-page text from him of what he's thinking about and what's on his mind. So, and I love when I get them. I love when I get the BJ texts.
Dana, I know Nick's here in Seattle. Nick Diaz is here in Seattle. Have you given any thought to a potential matchup with him and George? I know Bras Sahabi, George St. Pierre's head coach, said that was the matchup he
Are you sure Nick is here?
Nick is here.
Is he?
Yeah, I saw him last night.
Okay.
Because that seems to be the big money fight, George and Nick right now. Even though he's coming off of a controversial loss and a suspension, people still demanding that fight. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I'll let you guys know this then. George St. Pierre went on vacation. And when he came back, we were talking about Anderson Silva. He said, I want Nick Diaz. Me and Nick Diaz have unfinished business. We're supposed to fight. That's the fight that I want. So George St. Pierre has been a phenomenal champion, phenomenal human being, and just a great guy to deal with for us. And he doesn't ask for things, so if he wants to fight Nick Diaz and Nick Diaz wants to fight him, then that's probably the fight we'll make.
So pushback from you on in terms of Anderson Silva, that's obviously the big one.
Yeah. George has been off for over a year. It was a tough fight for him, the Condit fight. He asked personally for the fight.
Do you think you could do GSP at the Rogers Center? Is that big in Canada?
It's a good question. I think it's a big fight. I think it's a fight that everybody wants to see. It's an interesting fight.
Do you have a time frame for that?
I don't. I haven't even talked to Nick yet. I was trying to track Nick down this week, which is always fun. So I called Nate, and Nate told me, like 5 days ago, listen, if you talk to him, tell him I'm looking for him too.
What do you tell Johnny Hendricks?
Have you told him?
Listen, Johnny Hendricks has had some great fights. He is, when he's talking about winning in spectacular fashion, this guy hits people so hard they skid across the octagon. He's in no position to demand anything. George St. Pierre is the champ, has been forever, and if that's the fight he wants, then that's probably the fight we're going to give him if Diaz accepts it.
So where do you think that puts the Silva super fight then? Is it still in the cards? Do you think just move back?
I met with Anderson Silva yesterday. He flew in and sat down with me and Lorenzo. We talked for hours, and we got some fun things for Anderson too.
That was a pretty sweet bounty that you guys gave him.
Thanks. It didn't suck. It was a very nice car. Very nice car.
Yesterday, the UFC Brazil website, they announced the card as being Ronda versus Cyborgs. Was that really close to happening? And just no.
No. It should be happening. That's the fight that should be happening.
Is that frustrating for you?
Tito Ortiz is her manager, and he advised her against it.
Still beef with Tito Ortiz, right?
Were you giving out Bentleys, or is it just for Anderson? Is there a reason for?
Yeah, Anderson stepped up and did us a big favor down in Brazil. We did him a favor.
Have you talked to Bonner yet?
I have not talked to Bonner yet. I'm still mad at Bonner.
Mad or disappointed?
I'm mad. I'm mad at him. Don't hate him. It's not like I'm never gonna have a relationship with Stephan Bonner again. He'll always be with the UFC. His fight with Forrest, we're all here because of that. But I'm mad at him. He should have told me.
With Strikeforce being what it is, are you willing to work with Josh Barnett again and have him in the UFC? He said he expects to come over when.
Yeah, we really haven't done the whole. We haven't really, Strikeforce is still, they got a fight coming up, and that whole thing's still going on. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I don't run Strikeforce, and so we'll see what happens when smoke clears and the dust settles. We'll see what happens with that whole thing.
What happens to the champions that are injured, like Melendez and Rocco, who are supposed to fight on 2 different cards? Do they just sit out and you sign them to the UFC?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so difficult, this whole injury thing. I hope, it's funny because we're going out of 2012 the same way we came in, so I'm hoping on this December 29th fight, that's the end of this shit. Like this this fucking, what do you call it, man? Like
Break of injuries.
Yeah, it's like we got some voodoo fucking spell on us or something, man. I hope it's over on January 1st, and that was just something we'll be talking about years from now, how 2012 was the craziest year ever. Yeah.
Do you ever suspect that guys are getting injured because they're getting matchups or they're being booked for matchups they don't find favorable?
Here's what happens when you get injured. When you get injured, you go, you talk to your doctor, we know what it is, then you fly to Las Vegas and you see our doctors, and our doctors check you out. But it's not fake injury. You think somebody's going to go blow an ACL so they don't have to fight somebody?
Well, true, ACL, but I mean in terms of like training injuries, fighters talk a lot about bumps and bruises. I'm wondering if they might be reclassifying.
First of all, the doctors in Vegas are the most hardcore doctors in the country. These guys are in the fight business. They've seen everything. The doctor will tell us, this guy is okay to fight. He can fight. Yes, he has this, whatever it is, but it can't stop him from fighting. He can still fight with this.
Have you had that situation come?
We have had it happen, yeah.
Can you remember any
specific names? It's happened.
Yeah, there's been some talk about the super fight between John Jones and Anderson Silva, and then kind of went away, and now it's the George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva.
The beauty is, the greatest fighter in the world weighs 185 pounds, and he falls in between number 2 and number 3 best pound for pound in the world. He can fight either one of them.
Are you still committed to making both fights?
Yeah, I think he'll fight them both before his career is over.
Great.
And what allows you to make that happen? Is it dollars on the table that gets them speaking and signing those contracts?
The money never hurts, but these guys Anderson Silva is a guy who likes to challenge himself, and I think he likes to fuck with you guys, to be honest with you. I'll read something, I'll be like, what the fuck? He said that? I think he plays with you guys, because,
Why would he want to do that?
conversations we have behind the scenes are completely different than what's said publicly. And when has Anderson Silva never stepped up to the plate and done what we've asked him or needed him to do? Even fighting at 205 on a month's notice. Came in on a month's notice. You realize, and I was thinking about this yesterday, this guy is 38 years old, right? 38 years old, and still performing at the level that he is. And when Bonner went the distance with John Jones, right? And he said to me after the fight, after his fight with Anderson Silva, he was in total shock. Not to mention the fact, then we find out that he was on steroids. Okay? So he's on steroids. He's already the bigger, stronger guy. Anderson Silva had 36 days to prepare for that fight. And he fucking annihilated him. So then after the fight, he says to me, that guy lives in the Matrix. That's what he said. He said, nobody's ever done that to me in my life. I've never had that done to me. I felt like I've never fought a day in my life when I went in there with this guy. Do you realize how fucking good this guy is? That's how good Anderson Silva is. And I feel like the media and the fans don't grasp it and don't get it as much as I do. I'm actually, the day when we were sitting in the office yesterday talking to him, the day that guy comes in my office and says, I'd like to retire, it's gonna bum me the fuck out.
Are you saying behind closed doors then, what you hear from Anderson are positive signs and signals and noises about John Jones?
He'll fight anybody. He'll fight anybody. And he knows he'll win if he does. That's how he talks behind closed doors.
Can you tell us, what was George's demeanor like? Does he want a piece of Nick Diaz? Is he pissed at Nick Diaz? Or do you just think
he wants to fight Nick Diaz? That's the fight that he really wants. He wants that fight.
Is it because he's upset at him, or he just thinks he's the guy in the weight?
You'll have to ask him that question. He says he has unfinished business with Nick Diaz, and that's the fight he wants.
And why do you think that the Diaz brothers attract such interest from the fans? Certainly there's nobody like them in the world.
There you go. They're interesting guys.
Why do you think they get the kind of support and interest that they
I think they're the type of guys that that land right in the middle. There's tons of people that love them and tons of people that hate them. You know how many people tell me that those guys shouldn't even be in the UFC, they represent the sport poorly and this, that, and everything else, and then I get stuff from people that love them and think the Diaz brothers are the greatest things ever. I personally, I like the Diaz brothers. I like guys that are just, I like fucking me. This is the fight business, you know? And I understand it's a martial arts and all that stuff, and you're gonna have guys that are martial artists and will never say a word about anybody, and they'll bow and shake everybody's hands, and then you're gonna have some mean, nasty fuckers like the Diaz brothers and Ronda Rousey that, you know, want to finish people.
Dana, you make this GSP Nick Diaz fight. Are you concerned about the press conferences and the media events, and what are you going to do to make sure everything goes as smooth as possible?
I got to tell you, I would be pretty shocked if Nick didn't show up for another press conference. Last time he did, I pulled him out of the fight. So, I mean, you can't not show up for press conferences. It's part of the deal. You know what I mean? It's in your contract. It's part of the deal. We've never ever had a fighter not show up for a press conference. It's just, you absolutely positively cannot do that.
You don't have any problems like that with Nate or anything like that?
Yeah, I've never had one problem with Nate ever.
How important is Alexander Gustafsson to the European plan?
You said that?
Would you let him, or would you throw it back in?
No fight.
Dana, were you disappointed at all to have GSP come back to vacation and not say, give me Anderson, give him to me now?
No.
Why not?
You know, there's fights that we want to make and things that we want to do. But if George, you know, George has been off for over a year. He had a tough fight against Condit. He wants, I know what he wants. He wants to get another fight under his belt before he wants to get back to feeling and being himself again before he even thinks about fighting Anderson Silva. I was just saying 2 seconds ago, this guy is Anderson Silva is so far the best fighter in the world. Fuck pound for pound. They ought to make a whole nother list for him. I don't know what you call it, but he should be on that list. That's how good this guy is.
You think this is a smart call by GSP to take another fight first?
He knows his body. He knows where he's at physically and mentally, you know, and I have to respect that.
On the media call, you and David Shanks said that there's preliminary talks about maybe having a UFC like the Super Bowl weekend. Is that something that you guys are actually working for?
Here's what Eric said. You know, they got the Super Bowl that year, going to be out by New York, you know. So, yeah, obviously it's something that we would like to do. We'll see how if everything falls into place, it'd be awesome. I mean, could you imagine?
Would it be Super Bowl weekend, like the Saturday before?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Super Saturday and then the Super Bowl the next day.
Okay.
Do you wait to book that Diaz fight until he goes in front of the commission, or can you kind of come up with a date for it now?
Yeah, no, we can come up with a date for it. I mean, I don't see how he doesn't get a license. He wasn't using performance-enhancing drugs. You know, there's a big controversy right now over whether guys who are caught smoking marijuana should be treated like a guy who used a PED. You know what I mean? Marijuana is going to give you the physical strength to go in and hurt another human being.
It actually became legal today in Washington. Today's the first legal day.
After midnight.
You can go outside and smoke it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy.
Then you get married to the same marriage too. All same day.
So you can literally
Smoke now.
They were
You can walk down the street smoking weed.
at midnight. They were under the space rally, Space Needle.
Go keep an eye on Nate.
We were all there. We were all there,
Your
Dana.
boyfriend.
That's
and all
pretty
the same-
crazy. That is pretty crazy.
So you're scared about the drug test coming back now?
No, now I'm worried that Nick's in town.
No idea.
All right.
Dana, you said
Yeah,
the
but
winner
seriously,
between-
that shouldn't be treated as a PED. You know what I mean? So for me to say, you know, these two are going to fight, there's no way in hell Nick Diaz shouldn't get a license. He absolutely should get a license and be
Have you
released.
looked at the schedule, or do you have any idea when the fight could take place?
I do, but I don't want to talk about it yet because
April
nothing's
20th,
done.
420.
420.
For Diaz. Right over your head. That's all right.
I get it.
Hey, Dana, Alexander Gustafsson, one of your top European fighters, you just announced if he beats Shogun, he'll get a shot at the title. How important is he in terms of your European expansion plans? And
Well,
just the
you saw
players?
what happened when we went there, right? When we went to Stockholm. Awesome, you know. I like him, man. I like him a lot. His personality, his fighting style, everything. So this should be a fun fight.
Any update on Eddie Alvarez?
No update on that.
Pacquiao Marquez on Saturday too.
So you guys know I'm a huge Pacquiao fan.
Right.
24/7 fucks with your head so bad. It makes it look like, you know, if you look at it, it looks like Pacquiao's not really that focused. And, you know, you got guys like Freddie Roach saying, I used to be the boss, I'm not the boss anymore. He knows what he needs to do. And then the next episode he comes back and goes, I shouldn't have said that. I should be the boss. And it just seems like there's so much turmoil and distractions in his camp. And the one thing I got to be honest about, because I always am, that I didn't like, because I hate this stuff, and I'm surprised Pacquiao said this, is they were asking him about the belt. You guys remember what he said? Did you see it? They were asking him about the belt. He goes, all about the paycheck.
Plus Marquez won the last fight.
Huh?
Marquez won last fight.
And Marquez looks nasty. I mean, he is training hardcore. He's in great shape, you know. I got to go with Marquez.
I guess the last one is Hector Macho Camacho passed away.
Yeah. I heard that he got shot. I didn't know the whole story. It's sad. You know what I mean? I don't know all the particulars. Do you guys know what happened? They just got shot in his car.
Details,
Yeah, it's sad. It sucks. I'm awesome, man. I couldn't feel better. I'm working out again. I hadn't worked out since April. I've been working out for like a month now. I haven't had an episode, but I'm still getting the surgery in January. So.
How long are you been out for?
They say basically that what they do is they're going to cut my ear off. They insert these tubes and then they sew the ear back on. So I have a funny feeling my ear's going to be sore for a little while, but I plan on being right back next day. It's an outpatient surgery. Yeah, so you go in, get the surgery, and you leave. So I'll be back the next day at work.
Do you worry at all that all the other stuff that's come out today, introducing Ronda as the champion officially, GSP overshadows this event and doesn't?
Are you crazy, man? Nothing's overshadowing.
We have stood here and not talked at all about Benson Henderson, about some of these guys.
You must have just walked over here because we were talking about BJ Penn and Rory MacDonald.
BJ, but Benson's.
This is one of those fights that normally when you do a fight like this, right, when you put on a fight on television, the ratings build throughout the night, and then you get to the main event, and that's usually when you peak in your ratings. Are you fucking shitting me? When this fight goes on, BJ Penn and Rory MacDonald's the second fight, the fucking rating's gonna go like this on the second fight.
Right.
And then if they keep going up, or
as you said, you were talking to people earlier and running down the lineup, and you finally got to BJ and they went, oh shit, BJ's fighting.
Yeah.
And that was the one that caught them. You're worried at all that they've stolen some of the focus from
not worried at all. The fucking countdown show. Road to the Octagon did 2 million viewers. The Octagon, the show did 2 million viewers, which is close to what we did in the last fight. Yeah. I don't worry about anything like that. I'm not worried about that. That's the last thing I'm worried about. That's why people keep asking me about the fucking Ultimate Fighter. Oh my God, the ratings, this, that, and everything else. Do you guys realize that males 18 to 34 on Friday nights on FX went up 67%? Males 18 to 49 on Fridays during the season of The Ultimate Fighter were up 75%. It was a home run for FX. So everybody looks at this thing from the outside and says a bunch of stupid shit when they don't know what they're talking about. It was a fucking home run for them. It wasn't a home run for us because we want to pull more viewers. And the numbers that they did, that doesn't include DVR and all the other things, because everybody was DVRing because they were out on Friday nights. Everything with the UFC, our business, the relationship with Fox could not be better. Everything couldn't be better. The only thing that really kicked us in the nuts last year was losing 8 out of 12 main event fights. And like I just said about the 29th card, we lost Maynard, Griffin, and Weidman, all in one event. Those are the kind of things that are hurting and driving us crazy. You know, it's the injuries.
got a title fight on this Fox show, a title fight on the next Fox show. Is that something, and it's the lighter weight classes, is this something we can expect moving forward to get a chance to showcase these guys?
Yeah, we definitely want to use it to showcase the guys, but I mean, you can't expect anything on Fox. I mean, the 4 Fox fights a year are pay-per-view quality cards. Yeah.
So will we see, like, TJ's defending his belt for the first time, Benson's defending his belt, will we see, is this going to be a platform for those champions that maybe aren't the biggest pay-per-view draws, don't have the name yet? Guys like Morale, guys like...
Listen, over the last 13 years, before we had this Fox deal, all these guys were on pay-per-view, you know? The deal is, for Fox, we're bringing 4 pay-per-view quality cards to Fox. It could be anybody. There is no formula. It's however things line up. All these guys lined up to fight on this card, and everybody stayed healthy, thank God, and here we are.
This is 3 straight cards where you've set Ben Henderson up with like a hometown advantage. He has the Korean family, so when he fought in Japan, the Colorado, he's lived in Colorado, and he was born and raised here. Is that something you guys are doing on purpose?
Well, that's another answer for his question. Now that you say it, when you're saying, "Are we worried about this card?" How about the fact that it's free? This card's on free TV and sold out like this. I mean, believe me, I got a lot of other fucking things to worry about other than this card. But go ahead. So Ben Henderson having the hometown advantage. What about it?
3 straight fights. Are you guys not obviously not a hometown advantage, but are you guys doing that basically on purpose?
No, it just happened that way. Love to tell you we're that smart, and that's what we thought of, and that's the way it all went. It's just the way it happened.
And Shane Karyn, you think he's going to fight again?
I don't know, man. I just talked to him the other day. He's so depressed. He's completely bummed out and depressed, and I feel bad for the guy. But it's tough to bounce back, especially he's not getting any younger, and having a major injury like that, it's tough to bounce back from.
You said it sold out quickly here in Seattle. Will you come back to Seattle?
Yeah, we love Seattle.
Is there anything in plans yet, or is that just still kind of early?
No, we didn't even leave yet.
Yeah, I know.
But we love it up here. We'll see. But we'll be back here next year, guaranteed 100%. Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for taking the time.
Have a good day.